Nicole Wallace having a meltdown.
Someone should have said, stop it, stop. They died because of Donald Trump. One man.
It was very cringy. I mean, and he should have known that it was coming.
It was very cringy. Nicole Wallace having a meltdown after JD Vance gave the old political backhand to her favorite candidate. She was out saying that they should have dropped the F-bomb because no one can stop Trump's audacity. And you know this is a victory when this is the conversation over there on MSNBC. Here's what that sounded like.
Walz came in and said Donald Trump was trying to get rid of Obamacare, and he signed on to this lawsuit, lost it, and then had a bill to get rid of it and would have got there had it not been for John McCain. You don't think that was a good enough rebuttal?
JD Vance said, well, Donald Trump strengthened and saved Obamacare. Yeah. That's what he came back and said.
Right.
It's the audacity. I agree with you that we're in year 9 and no one knows how to cover the audacity. Mm-hmm. The audacity is that someone should have said, stop it, stop. Are you effing kidding me? Whoa. And they should have dropped that F-bomb, right? I mean, they should have just, this is a debate. This may be the only chance people have to see the difference. And instead, I mean, I'll go back to my toothpicks. JD Vance just put one little toothpick on top of the other and said, and I'm for this and I'm for this. And I'm so sorry those women died. They died because of Donald Trump. One man had a litmus test for the people he put on the Supreme Court, and he put not one, not two, but 3 on because they passed a litmus test that they would overturn Roe. And that's why Amber died. That's why that little boy doesn't have a mom. And
that's why Amber died, because Trump put people on the Supreme Court. That's why Amber's dead. Okay. And we debunked that last night. She was in an abortion, right? We read the article. She was in the middle of an abortion, had already taken the abortion pill. It wasn't she was denied access to an abortion. She had an abortion. She was in the middle of an abortion. She had a complication and then unfortunately died. So they turned those issues into Trump is murdering women, which is obviously a causational problem, but let's carry on.
Nobody made that reality come to life. Because I think even if you didn't get the contrast you were looking for, neither did you get any, wake up and smell the smelling salts. You were sort of lulled into normalcy.
Let me ask you about one other subject matter and how.
You were lulled into normalcy. She did seem a little bit slurry, a little bit. Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on over there in the aftermath of the DNC party. Here's a little bit more.
Yeah. And I actually think if you're a woman, that might be the worst moment JD Vance had, because he was going to mansplain right over that mute button. He was, and again, I don't pretend to know how everyone will react to this. I think that a lot of women in positions of authority that should command respect just by virtue of that dynamic will see themselves in some dude that disrespected them and talked over. I mean, there was a moment like that with the vice presidential in the Harris-Pence debate.
All right, so guess JD was mansplaining last night to women like Nicole Wallace. She got mansplained all over, and she's not happy about it this morning. What is a woman? I have no idea. It's very complicated these days. I guess even MSNBC, maybe they know? Do they identify as women? I don't know what their rules are. It's hard for me to keep up with all their rules. They change like dynamically multiple times. Feels like a day. Some of them change every day. It's hard to keep track. So that was one reaction. Now, more from CNN. They're saying that this was pretty cringy, the Tiananmen Square situation. Now watch, they don't replay this. This was a funny excerpt because they don't replay the Tiananmen Square clip. Tapper's like, can we cut to that? They're like, no, don't. We're not going to play that again.
You know this about Governor Walz now. He has a history of embellishing. He was asked about it by we're not going to toss to the town. Okay. Anyway, and he kind of fumbled around about it. What did you think?
Well, first of all, that was our K-File reporting, I believe, that first reported this. What I think isn't as relevant as what I was hearing from Democrats who were kind of doing it. Whatever you do to cringe over a text, they were not thrilled about that answer. It was very cringy. I mean, and he should have known that it was coming.
It was very cringy. He should have known it was coming, and he didn't answer it well. Here was the actual exchange.
Governor Walz, you said you were in Hong Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the spring of 1989. But Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of that year. Can you explain that discrepancy?
Yeah, well, and to the folks out there who didn't get at the top of this, look, I grew up in small rural Nebraska, town of 400, town that you rode your bike with your buddies till the streetlights come on, and I'm proud of that service. I joined the National Guard at 17, worked on family family farms. And then I used the GI Bill to become a teacher, passionate about it, a young teacher. My first year out, I got the opportunity in the summer of '89 to travel to China. 35 years ago, be able to do that. I came back home and then started a program to take young people there. We would take basketball teams, we would take baseball teams, we would take dancers, and we would go back and forth to China. The issue for that was to try and learn. Now, look, my community knows who I am. They saw where I was at. I will be the first to tell you, I have poured my heart into my community. I've tried to do the best I can, but I've not been perfect, and I'm a knucklehead at times, but it's always been about that. Those same people elected me to Congress for 12 years. And in Congress, I was one of the most bipartisan people, working on things like farm bills that we got done, working on veterans benefits. And then the people of Minnesota were able to elect me to governor twice. So look, my commitment has been from the beginning to make sure that I'm there for the people, to make sure that I get this right. I will say more than anything, many times I will talk a lot, I will get caught up in the rhetoric, but being there, the impact it made, the difference it made in my life, I learned a lot about China. I hear the critiques of this. I would make the case that Donald Trump should have come on one of those trips with us. I guarantee you he wouldn't be praising Xi Jinping about COVID, and I guarantee you he wouldn't start a trade war that he ends up losing. So this is about trying to understand the world. It's about trying to do the best you can for your community, and then it's putting yourself out there and letting your folks understand what it is. My commitment, whether it be through teaching, which I was good at, or whether it was being a good soldier or was being a good member of Congress, those are the things that I think are the values that people care about.
Governor, just to follow up on that, the question was, can you explain the discrepancy?
All I said on this was I got there that summer and misspoke on this. So I will just, that's what I've said. So I was in
let it hang.
Hong Kong and China during the democracy protests, went in. And from that, I learned a lot of what needed to be in governance.
Brutal. And you can see why Democrats were not happy about that response. And I think a better answer would just to be something like, well, I was there during that season. Yeah, it's true I misspoke. I was not there the day of the Tiananmen riots, but I was there just a short time after. And when I was in China, it was a whole season and I learned a lot about democracy. And then you go into that whole tirade. I misspoke, but I was there during the season and we were there in the interest of democracy. And it was very beautiful to watch this thing, burgeon over there. And that's all. It's not a big deal. But here's the bigger deal, right, was whatever, and then go into his little spiel. And he could have said all of that, and then she wouldn't have asked that follow-up question. But they can't just, I guess, admit the truth. Because if he does, then we're going to start asking the same questions about every other lie that he has been accumulating over his years in political office.